That's a huge thing for me is making sure my clients feel comfortable and safe. A safe space is always important to me. I come from a family of therapists, so I'm very
Oh,
well versed in
wow.
how to make that happen. Um, and then, but yes, making sure my clients feel safe and comfortable because some of the services I do are painful. I don't particularly appreciate speed waxing and stuff like that as much, like speed
Mm,
services, trying to get them in and out. Um, because I feel like while it works for some people, it doesn't work for me to not have that strong relationship with my clients. Um, Not something that is really, really important to me. I focus a lot on I will take as much time as I need to make sure my clients get the highest quality of services and highest quality experience they can.
nice. That's amazing. I'm sure they love you. I'm sure they
That's
love talking
awesome.
to you too.
I definitely,
No, no, no. Go ahead. Go ahead. We have all the time. No rushing. Tell us. Lana, what were you going to say? I'm so sorry.
Yeah, I want to hear.
sorry, I just said I definitely think so. Also, I will go ahead and let y'all know I am paying attention. I promise I'm paying attention. I have my headphones in. I'm currently at my separate job. It's very
Mhm.
laid back, very lax. So there are times where I might not look like I'm paying attention, but I am still listening, paying attention. I just have students because I work at the college that is in my hometown at the moment.
Oh, that's amazing.
That's awesome. That's okay.
Well, so glad you're here tuning in.
Hmm.
I just want
What
y'all to
a,
know that I'm not paying attention.
you're, you're the sweetest. What about you? Is it Dana or Dinah? I would love to hear about like what
Community.
like what
Dana. Yes.
Dana, what kind of do you run a spa? What do you do in the industry?
I'm an esthetician for I think 25, 26 years now.
Wow.
And yeah, I had a full service day spa and almost my 13-year anniversary at my location or my current location is March 1st, and I closed my day spa to just do it for myself.
Good for you.
I'm backwards from everyone else. I've done that, been there, have
Hmm.
no desire to have employees,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and deal with myself. But yeah, so and I'm in Chicago, Illinois.
Oh,
Awesome.
Chicago. Nice and
Nice.
cold right now, I imagine.
Yeah, actually, we're supposed to get, I think, 3 to 5 inches of snow
Oh
on
my
Monday.
God.
Oh, wow.
So,
Crazy.
So that's cool. How many employees did you have at your height? Like, how big did you get? Do you have lots of treatment rooms, lots of staff?
I had 2,700 square feet. I had
Wow.
13 employees.
Whoa.
Wow.
And I closed in October of 2011. So honestly, that
Okay.
was probably right when the those solo salon, the independent places started happening. I just
Popping
feel
up.
for myself, when people are established, they start leaving and doing their own thing.
Mm,
Hmm.
Unfortunately, for myself, my son was 2 years old. I was never home. My nanny raised him for the first 2 years, and I just wanted a different lifestyle. And I used to tell my existing clients, like, well, maybe one day when he goes to school, I'll go back and reopen. But the industry has changed so much over the past 13 years.
Hmm.
So I have a small storefront. I'm in the West Loop in Chicago, which is like the hottest place you could have a business.
nice.
Um,
Awesome.
and yeah, so I don't have a salon suite or anything. It's like a physical storefront on
Cool.
the strip. So
Nice.
yeah.
What are you known for? Are you doing mostly facials, waxing? What do you do?
Facials, microcurrent. I'm a DMK paramedical clinic.
Nice.
Um, so yeah, I've got a lot of good stuff. I do waxing, but I'm mostly focused on skincare.
Amazing. That's so nice to have a
Um,
storefront too. So you have all your retail on display and
Hmm.
yeah.
nice
Yep.
experience. That's awesome. So what are your goals? Like what have you been looking to maybe change or improve on or just kind of tuning in? What's on your mind as far as
Uh,
your business?
well, I feel like last year, or well, I should say 2023 was a really good year. 2024, things kind of slipped away. So maybe more client retention, finding new people. I mean, I am in a very populated area, but also a lot of people have moved
Mm,
out of the
Hmm.
cities. So there's changeover in that way. I have a ton of clients that have moved out of state. And some of them still come and see me when they're in town, or when they come back to town, which is wonderful. But yeah, just learn, I don't know, just seeing, we're always here to improve and grow, right?
Mhm.
Yeah,
So I'm looking
absolutely.
at some new devices. I'm in the middle of launching my own skincare, or like officially, I should say, launching my own skincare line. I've been selling it to my clients now for a while. I just need to bite the bullet and 100% get it to where it needs to be. I'm
Cool.
working on that with my therapist, right? It doesn't have to be perfect. I need to just progress into that.
I feel you on
So,
that. Good for
yeah.
you.
I mean, just learning, hey, you never know what you're going to learn. So,
That's so true.
and I
That's so
thought
true.
that the emotional purchasing, or the name of the webinar, I was like, oh, I'm like, that is, something that I totally want to educate myself on. So thanks for hosting it.
Yeah, of
Yeah,
course.
we're so
That's
excited.
what our like specialty is. I focus on esthetician, emotion focused sales on social media, and then Elizabeth's my partner in crime, and she focuses on in the treatment room. Because it all
Yeah.
comes down to emotions, right? And making your clients feel a certain way.
Yeah.
100%. So, maybe I missed that originally. Do you guys have a company name or something that I should be following you?
Well,
I'll
we're
put it
both
in the chat.
separate.
Oh, okay.
So
Both
I'm
separate but
marketing.
together. Yeah,
We're separate but
exactly.
together. We partnered. So I'm marketing with Meg on Instagram, and Elizabeth
Oh,
is Elizabeth M. Donat, right? That's your username?
Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you can
Would
follow
y'all
us,
put
but
that
then
in the chat?
yeah. But then we
Yeah.
came together and we created the Spa Owners Sales Academy together. So that's our partner project, and it's like teaches you how to create a sales and marketing strategy for in the treatment room and on social media, and then everything's taught by Elizabeth and I. Just like this,
Yep.
we're like in every single lesson together, like just chiming off each other. But yeah, the whole thing's focused on like emotion focused marketing and sales. Yeah, we'll put
Yep.
it. Elizabeth, your username is Elizabeth M. Donat, right? I don't want
That's
to get
right. Yes, there was another Elizabeth Donat, so I had to add
Yeah,
my
one time
middle
I tagged
initial.
them and I was like, that's not my Elizabeth.
No. Yeah. So yeah, I have my middle initial in there. But yeah, so I'm like you. I'm a very experienced esthetician, over 20 years. And I have a background in New York City, high-end VIP celebrity clientele. And then I got into education and I opened my own spa consulting company about 9 years ago. And then I was always on my own trying to help spa owners, same things with bookings, with sales, client retention, with their systems, with their staff. So when you're talking about your staff, I totally felt you on that because I worked a lot with like staff and training and all that. But then there was just something missing. And then Meg and it just kind of happened like out of the blue. We were chatting and we were friends first, and we were both like, God, we would love to like run a master class and combine both of our knowledge, the
Yeah.
online and the spa room. And then a light bulb kind of went off and we were like, oh, we have so much material. So we partnered
Yeah.
up to create the Spa Owner Sales
It
Academy.
couldn't be just one master class. If it was one master class, it'd be like a 4-hour master class.
Yeah, that was the joke. That was the joke.
But
We
yeah,
thought it was going to be
tonight.
one master class, and we ended up with a 20 module course.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's great.
There's just too much to cover. You don't
Yeah.
want to like, not cover
Yeah.
something super important.
Exactly.
Yeah, we were internet friends for like 4 years.
Yep.
And we're actually on opposite sides. Like Elizabeth lives in Florida.
100%. So,
Sorry? I think someone was just about to talk.
I think someone was chiming in. Maybe it was Maria. Was that you, Maria?
I think it was Maria.
No, I'm okay. Go ahead. Keep
Oh,
going.
Oh,
okay.
okay.
Yeah, Elizabeth's in Florida and I'm in Vancouver, BC. So we're like on complete opposite sides.
North America,
America.
which is funny. But yeah, we if anything, we never run out of things that we want to talk
No.
about and teach. Like we're already planning our next maybe 3 or 4 modules that we're going to add to our courses.
Yeah.
And now at first we sold our whole course as one big unit, one big buy-in. And now we sell everything. All the master classes are sold individually because we found that people sometimes just wanted to like dive in on individual topics. So if you ever, you can see it from both of our sites. We have literally every topic you could think of for in the spa, sales techniques, and then in online, which is Meg's genius and expertise.
Yeah.
So, and we have a blast. Like everything that we do, we're together in all of our video training. So it's nice. It's always nice to hear it from an esthetician that really speaks your language, and then Meg, you know, who's specifically an esthetician, marketing, and salesperson.
Yeah.
So it's
And
two
then-
for one, which is
Yeah,
nice.
that's how we word it.
Mm-hmm.
2 for 1.
So before we keep going, I think we should do introductions so I know where to
Yeah.
to.
Love
Yep.
to.
Perfect. Elizabeth, did you want to go first?
Sure. So, hi everyone. My name's
Wait, 1
Elizabeth.
second.
Oh,
One
okay.
second. Not yet.
Oh,
Because then my VA doesn't know where to start.
okay.
One
You just
second.
tell me.
Yeah.
Someone was
Hello.
just sorry.
It's okay. 1 second. Hello, everybody. I am Maria, and I am the admin of the Money Making Esthetician Facebook group. And today I'm joined with the amazing Megan and Elizabeth, and I am so excited to bring this to you guys. I feel like this is such a great opportunity because everybody is struggling with how to book clients, And I feel like when you have a really good strategy behind your plan of posting on Instagrams, newsletters, all the good stuff, and it really comes down to emotion. What emotion are we trying to get? How are we trying to get good leads and get people to book? So today we're here joined with these two amazing, incredible ladies, and they're going to help us figure out the 5 key emotions that every client needs to feel to keep booking and to stay with you.
Thank you.
Of course.
Well, hello, I'm Elizabeth Donat. I'm the one half of the Spa Owner Sales Academy with Megan O'Brien, and I'm so happy to be here. Thank you so much, Maria. It's such a treat. And yes, we are coming together to talk about emotion-based sales. And my background is that I'm a 20-year New York and internationally licensed esthetician. As I mentioned before, I have a ton of high-end celebrity clientele. And then after working in the spas for many years, I transitioned into education and consulting and writing. So I'm also a 50 times published expert in the space as well. And now Meg and I have teamed up to give you everything you could possibly imagine with emotion-based spa sales and marketing. My in spa room perspective, and Meg with the excellent online and social media. So I'll kick it off to Meg.
Thank you. Hi, I'm Meg. My Instagram is Marketing with Meg. Some of you may recognize me from there. So I have been lucky enough to help estheticians with their marketing. I have helped thousands of estheticians grow communities that are looking to book. I'm really passionate about like persuasion and sales psychology. I have a degree in communications, and I was lucky enough to specialize when I was at school in images, politics, and persuasion. So I got to really dive deep into the persuasion side of everything, which kind of got like the fire burning in me to teach you all about like emotions and sales psychology, because I found so many estheticians were putting out content that was like with regular marketing content, you can put out like a post and yeah, it's going to reach lots of eyes, but how are you going to give that post more legs? That's what I call it, like more legs. It's when you apply like emotion to your content. And that's what we created with the Spa Owner Sales Academy. And I'm so excited to have everyone here, whether you're watching on the replay or you're live right now. It's going to be a really good talk. And I hope there's quite a few like eye-opening moments for you so that you can then, after this talk, sit and like just figure out how you can make some tweaks to your current content strategy, because so many estheticians, like I know you have good content already. And luckily there's just like a couple small changes you can make to give your content more legs and make it more hard hitting, we'll say.
And one thing I want to say, it kind of makes me laugh. If you hear Meg and I saying the word SOSA, don't be confused, because that's how we refer to our course. The Spa Owner Sales Academy is SOSA. So if you hear us say SOSA and you're like, what the hell is she talking about? That's what we're talking. It's just the acronym for our course.
Because it's too long.
Too long. It's a mouthful. So we say SOSA. So I just figured I'd warn them, because sometimes Meg and I start riffing and you might hear us using our own terminology, and don't mind us. That's what that is. So do you want to start, Meg, on our little presentation? I'm so excited. So we have for you guys the 5 emotions that your clients need to book, to buy, to refer, to rebook, right? Everything that we all want to be doing every day at the spa, because it means money in our pocket, it means relationships, it means trust, and it means us having a thriving business. So
Mhm.
Meg and I created an outline. So I know me personally, if you see me I'm looking at my screen, I'm looking at my outline,
Mhm.
and we broke up the 5 emotions, and then we each are going to chime in on, we're going to talk about the emotion, and then we're each going to chime in on the social media side of how that emotion can show up, and then I'm going to talk about the in spa or in treatment room way that those emotions can show up. So Meg, do you want to kick it off with the first emotion and your side of
Yeah.
it, and then I'll follow you?
Yeah, of course. But as we're talking through this next hour, don't hesitate to chime in if you have a question,
Oh yeah,
because our
definitely.
number one goal is to answer your questions. And as things come up, as we keep talking, naturally you're gonna have questions, and I don't want you to leave this with any without them being
Yeah.
answered. So
Yeah, because we'll just keep talking and talking. We love, so you just
yeah,
interrupt us
please
anytime.
interrupt. So our first emotion is pampered. So your clients want to feel pampered. So in social media, here's a couple examples that you can show. How are you going to show a potential client or follower or someone who's just lurking your social media feed? How are you going to show them that if they step into your treatment room, they're going to be pampered? So this includes things like client transformations, or whether you do like a reel where you showcase your client looking all comfortable and glowing skin like post treatment, and then maybe you pan from the client to your treatment room looking like super relaxing and calming, right? Because remember, it's not just so much like the results they're coming for, they're also coming for like the experience, right? We talk a lot about the client experience, and a lot of that is being pampered. So again,
Absolutely.
make sure your treatment room looks really relaxing. And I love when I see estheticians share reels that are literally like 6 seconds of their treatment room looking comfortable. Like you might not even have your client in that reel, and that's okay. Um,
Yep,
yeah,
absolutely. The
something simple.
candles, the dim lights, all the
Yeah,
things.
something as simple. Also, something as simple as like setting up for your client. Like for you, it's like, yeah, I'm just showing myself getting my treatment bed ready and turning on the warmer and getting everything looking comfortable. But for a client, like Elizabeth and I talk a lot about this, there's like such a space for you to have an enhanced client experience. And so many of your clients are probably missing that or not used to it.
Mm,
So what can be super basic for you, whether like you are like, oh yeah, of course I'm gonna have a comfortable looking room and my treatment room's gonna be comfortable, like in like dim light and it's gonna be a vibe. But your clients are probably used to going into spas where it's like one and done and they're just out, right? So think
mm-hmm.
like, where can I just show off that side of my client experience? And yeah, something as simple as like setting up your treatment room in a reel. And I always say we're so lucky, we can share a 6 second reel and it can reach like thousands of people. Like,
Yep.
you remember just like 20 years ago to reach thousands of people, how hard it would have been? And we can do
Yep.
that in seconds. So I know, who was it? Dana was talking about perfection and like getting stuck on perfection previously when we were talking with before we started going live here. And a lot of estheticians get stuck feeling like, oh, this reel isn't perfect, and then they won't post the content. But just know that you don't have to have like this perfect reel, you know?
Yeah, nothing has to be perfect. And I
Nothing,
agree.
yeah.
Like, it's really like what Meg and I talk about all the time too is you're setting up the expectation of the experience on social media. You're showing
Yeah.
them clips of the warmth, almost like the textures, the little things, the tea, the steam coming from the tea. Those little random things make such an impact, and they're so small and they take so
Mhm.
little time to show. And then that experience that you're showing on socials will then translate hopefully to the experience that they're going to have in your spa. So they're getting a
Mhm.
preview of the pampering on your socials. And then when they come in, they're going to full on get that pampering experience. And that really is what people need so much right now. So, as far as pampering, the things that I recommend, of course, other things that we all know and love is like the warm towels, the aromatherapy. Maybe you have a signature scent that you use, soothing music, dimmable lights. everything being a personalized treatment. There's nothing worse than Meg and I have talked about this many times, is when you go into a spa and you just feel like they're just putting you through the motions. Yeah, come in right this way, sit here, check in, okay, da da da. And you just feel like you're in a factory. So any way that you can personalize the treatments, and that even just goes on, I always say their name as much as you can. It feels really pampering to hear your own name. So saying their name, and any surprise gifts that you can give them, little tiny things, presenting them with a cup of tea, um things that don't even have to be expensive, obviously, just a little
No.
touch. One of my clients in New York was so amazing at, she would find little nutritious snacks she would call skin food. So she'd always have a new skin food offering for her clients and a tea, and they just felt like, what a nice extra for coming in today. And then anytime they have extra time to unwind, so we talk a lot about what happens with the client journey before the facial actually starts. What happens after the facial? Where do they go? What amenities do they have available to them before and after? So really personalizing that and thinking about that and being intentional creates just the difference between an okay experience and a magical one, where they leave and the client is like, oh my God, they call their best friend. They're like, I had the best facial today. That's how you get those referrals.
Yeah, and I wanted to chime in with 2 points. Having a welcome sign in your treatment room is something that's really easy to also create that personal connection. And between your clients, you could say, like, you could change out the name and it could be like, welcome, Serena. And it just lets them know that, like, you created this space for them, kind of thing. And then going back to what Elizabeth said about like finding time for them to unwind, a lot of this comes into you and figuring out the flow of your treatments. Like, where can you work in times? Like, is there a moment where you're going to do like a facial massage, or is there a moment where maybe mid facial you'll switch while something's absorbing on their face for their hands and you can give them a hand massage? Or at the end, is there like, there's an esthetician I follow on Instagram, in Vancouver here. She's really into sound music, and she brings like singing bowls um into her services, and that's just like an extra layer for like a relaxing moment. Or really think to yourself like, okay, they have this hour facial, but where can it become like a bit more healing for the soul as well as healing for the skin, and don't be afraid to like carve out time just for those moments. Don't think it's like the whole time your hands have to be on their face.
And I would say this, and I love that. And I would add one thing, and the
Mhm.
estheticians in the room are totally going to understand what I mean.
Mhm.
When I was in school, I had this amazing teacher, and she, sometimes when we're doing a facial, we get them on the table, we got the covers on them, we put the headband on, especially when we're newbies and we're in school and we're learning, we're still getting our flow. Like, all of that, like, the facial doesn't start just when you put your hands on them and start cleansing or makeup removal. The facial starts at the headband going on. The facial starts the moment that you put that bolster under their knees and you get them comfortable. It's all the facial. So it's like, you don't just start being slow and graceful during the facial and then you put their headband on and it's like this jerky herky thing. It's all the facial. So just check and make sure, how are those opening movements? Is it graceful even when you're doing the mundane things like getting them on the table, putting their headband on? That should all be part of the pampering, not just the skin part.
Yep,
So that advice always stuck with me for a very long time.
completely agree. So our second emotion that we want them to feel, whether it's in the treatment room or on social media, is welcomed. We want them to feel welcomed. We don't want them to ever feel like, so for me, a lot of feeling welcomed is for you guys on social media, focusing on the how are they feeling when they come to you. Whether it's the first time they step into your treatment room or the first time they see your content and kind of ponder if they should book. Like, what state of mind are they in? Most of the time, they're stressed, they're tired of skincare, they're so tired of trying things and not getting results. They're tired of getting passed around from other estheticians or spa owners who make them feel like a number. They're overwhelmed, their self-confidence might be low. Always remember, like, what emotions are they feeling before they even step into your treatment room, and then create content around that. So for example, you could do a reel of your client, right? But then you could do a voiceover talking about your client and like the emotions they felt when they first stepped to your treatment room, right? And it's connecting that potential follower or that potential, sorry, client with one of your current clients, right? And you're making
Mm.
them feel welcome because they're going to start to envision themselves already in your treatment room. So you can sit down and like make a big list of like 20 emotions that I'm sure you can even think to the conversations you've had in the treatment room with your clients. Like, how have they felt? And then create content around those emotions and how you will help your clients, if they book with you, get out of those emotions, right? How are you going to take them from what they're feeling right now to what they want to feel once they reach their skin goals, right? And a lot of times that's like having the support of an esthetician, because they don't have the support when they're doing it by themselves and jumping from viral product to viral trend, right? No support. They have someone now who they can come in and like lay down on your treatment bed and you're like, how are you thinking about their skin? Maybe they can just like let it all out, right? They have that
Mm.
support system now. They never had that.
Yep.
Also, like the customized treatment plan, right? They're entering a place where they can put their feet up essentially. They don't have to worry anymore. You're leading them, you're guiding them. It's less stressful for them. So a lot of content, yeah, that's focusing on like how you're going to get them from feeling like how they are when they first come to your treatment room with perhaps that negative emotion to how they would feel with their skin goals. If you guys have any questions about that, don't hesitate to chime in right now, because these emotions ultimately are going to create a really strong connection. Everyone always says to me, like when an esthetician comes up to me or DMs me and they're stressed, I'm like, what's wrong? And they're like, I just feel like everything's so saturated. The way you stand out online is you like dig deeper into how your followers are feeling, because that's how the content people are scrolling, right? We're so used to just scrolling. You have like microseconds to grab someone's attention. So how are you going to grab their attention? By focusing in on something that they're feeling like deep down, or a situation they're going to be in. Perhaps, I don't know, like it's February, March, spring break's coming up. Maybe instead of doing like, oh, it's just spring break, you should get like a facial. It's like, oh, let's say goodbye to spring break skin anxiety, or like
Hmm.
saying no to selfies on spring break, right? Like what situations would your potential clients be in when they're struggling with their skin, like socially? Like they're not going to be as confident. They're not going to be like wanting to take pictures. They're not going to be enjoying themselves because probably in the back of their head they're just like stressing over their skin and they're like really unhappy. So put yourself into their head and then create content around that.
Yeah, or like you don't need to have a hot summer with heavy foundation. Something like people I know that I had clients that were like, "Oh, it's summer, it's so hot, but I
Mhm.
feel like I have to wear heavy coverage foundation because my skin just looks so bad." And I'm like, "God, wouldn't it be great to just put on a tinted sunscreen?" And they're like, "Yes, that's all they wanted was just to get rid of the
Yeah.
heavy makeup."
And
And
it's those little wins. Like a lot of the
mhm.
times when we think of your clients' skin goals, it's like if they're really struggling with their acne, at the end of the day, their big skin goal is to clear up their acne. But what micro wins will they get that will they get along with clearing up their acne? Like Elizabeth said, they won't have to wear heavy foundation, right? Maybe, I don't know, they'll have more confidence in pictures. They won't have to like lug around their makeup, in their bag when they're
Yeah.
going out to cover up, to go into the bar or bathroom and like cover up their pimples, right? Because they've sweat off all their foundation because it's so hot in the summer.
Yeah,
It's like the
exactly.
little wins. Yeah, and really sit down and think about those. What are those little wins as well?
And you can always dive into those client conversations, those
Yes.
one-on-one conversations you've had. That's gold for your marketing. I think we
Hmm.
overlook that, but Meg has really
Yeah.
brought to my attention that is your content, is those little things that your clients say to you. They're like, "Oh, I wish that I didn't have to wear this foundation," or, "Oh, I wish that like I could be more confident and like sleep over my boyfriend's house without being worried about washing my face at night. I don't want him to see my acne." Like we've
Mhm.
heard it all in the treatment room of what, women especially will tell us. So, dig into those
Yeah,
scenarios.
and don't like after your client leaves, like sit down and take notes about what they talk to you about so you don't forget. Because I know like we're saying, this is like such high quality content because it's applying directly to the people who are already in your treatment room, right? And those are the people you want to bring more of, right? So we're like, how can we create content that's going to like bring different versions of you into my treatment room? And it's by doing this and like,
Yeah, that person's going to see your content online and instantly know that you're the right person for them. It's like an instant trust and connection.
mhm.
Um, okay, so if Meg, you're done, I think, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
So
done.
I'll
You can
do
go
so
to
welcomed, and it's so funny because when I'm reading the list of what I have for welcomed, it really comes down to the most simple things. But if you
yeah.
think about what Meg said, where they're coming into your spa often with these vulnerable emotions that they're feeling, whether they're feeling desperate, they're feeling lost, whether they're irritated, they're impatient, they're coming with all these emotions. And then if they don't feel welcomed,
Mhm.
that is going to really be a problem. So I'm
Mhm.
big into making sure that they get the most warm welcome. You only have one chance to make a first impression. So if the bare minimum obviously is greeting them by name if you can, eye contact,
Mhm.
open body language, being very present and open, and not getting stuck again and being robotic. I think one of the things that we all can sense when we're being greeted by someone is that they just kind of say the same greeting over and over again. You can just tell they're just going through the motions. So, really, you want to feel like when your client walks in, it's almost like you've hit the reset button, and it's a fresh interaction every time. I don't know if I'm describing that well enough, but like they should really feel like you're perking up as soon as they walk in.
Mhm.
And also that includes, the biggest thing I would take away from this is eye contact. There's nothing worse than being greeted by someone who can't even look you in the eye. So eye
Mhm.
contact, even if you're busy, even if you're on the phone, you can still look and put your finger up and say hi, and go about what you're doing. Of course, if you're a solo esthetician, you're doing it all anyway. So you might be busy when someone walks in. Always look at them,
Mhm.
because that could really hit them hard emotionally if they're used to not feeling like seen, and they're used to being
Mhm.
ignored, or they're feeling inferior because of their skin, and then they walk into your spa and then they also start feeling those emotions of feeling unwanted, inferior,
Mhm.
not acknowledged. That is like not good for your business at all. And everything goes down to what Meg was saying, the microseconds of a social media interaction and the microseconds that you have to greet them properly when they come in. Um, and I would also say inclusive language. And what do I mean by that? I think one of the things that we get stuck in with greeting people and welcoming them is they walk in and we're like, hi, you checking in? And we teach that there's other phrases that you could use, because if you aren't someone, if that client isn't checking in, maybe they're just coming in to check you out, or they're coming in to check out your products or buy a gift card for their mom. You've already made them feel like they don't belong by just them walking in and saying, hi, you checking in. So Meg and I created a lot of phrases and scripting. I'm really like a huge proponent of that, so that you always have the words at your fingertips and you make them feel amazing, from the simplest thing like the greeting at your front
Mhm.
desk.
Yeah, and a lot of like making your client feel welcomed in the treatment room comes down to you feeling confident in your services
Mm,
because you almost want to like allow yourself the space to sink into that one-on-one time with your client so that not in your head, so you're in your head, you're not like, okay, I'm done this step and now I have to get to this step, so we're going to move to this step next. Oh, I'm looking at the clock and we're like slightly behind. So
yeah.
a lot of it does come down to like you becoming confident in how you run the show essentially, right? And I know
Yep.
that does come with time, but that also comes with like systems, right? And scripting, which we're really big on, like Elizabeth just said, and planning out your treatments and like not being afraid to speak up because you're the leader in the treatment room, right? Don't ever be afraid. Your clients are looking for that. Like they're so tired. I remember when I
Hmm.
first saw my esthetician when I was struggling with my skin, I was just like, I'm so over this. Like I was just so done with feeling like I was a number. My old spa made me feel like I was a number. It was a place you walk in and the receptionists are too busy gossiping to look you in the eye and say hi.
Mm.
And I was like,
Oh,
it makes you feel defeated because it's like, yeah, they're helping me with my skin and then they're like rushing me in and like rushing me out. So when I went to my current esthetician, and she was like, just like one-on-one, like she greets me at the door. It's just it's such a different experience. And I'm like locked in with her. Like I'm never leaving her. Like she's so kind and she made me feel heard. And it's just, you have to remember your clients are in such a vulnerable state, right? And yeah, like Elizabeth said, I think we always say like eye contact is the lost art. Like it's wild
oh,
how I think
yeah.
it's because like, we're all on social media so much. So much of our social lives is now through a screen. Like we're really struggling with our in-person communication. So
Mm-hmm.
if you are looking to like learn more, like pick up a book next time you're at like the bookstore on like communication and like small talk. The other day I was reading a book on small talk because I'm like, man, yeah, I need to like, why don't I like fine tune my skills on small talk, right? Because we're so used to now communicating through screens. You always want to, as an esthetician, service provider, make sure you're like keeping your in-person communication really like
Mm.
fine tuned.
Yeah, so true. Yeah, I welcomed. I think we covered
Did you
everything there.
mention remembering preferences? Because I think that's really big.
Oh yeah. What made me think of too is all of these tips are inside one of our master classes called the Secret Shopper. We have a Secret Shopper master
Oh yeah.
class. If you're into this type of stuff, there's two that are coming to mind. Our Facial Flow masterclass, when to talk,
Mhm.
sell, and shut up, which is really good. And then we have one called Secret Shopper. And I used to be a secret shopper with companies and in my own consulting business. So I would go in and evaluate spas when people didn't know that I was looking. And I've created a list in that module of all the things, just so you have a second pair of eyes on your spa. And it includes things like how your staff and how you interact and all those little things you might not be aware of. What did you say, Meg? Sorry, I just left my
Remembering
brain.
preferences.
Oh, remembering
This is really
preferences.
key.
Absolutely. So always making notes on your chart or in the client file about their preferences. So yes, the pampering is one thing, but making them feel welcomed is having those preferences locked in and having that pampering rather locked in when they walk in. So are they
Mhm.
someone that likes the lights high? You remember and you put them high before they even walk in, or they like them low and you have them set to low before they walk in. Do they like the green tea or do they like the black tea? You made a note of that. Then they come in and you're like, here's your black tea, or would you like your black tea, Barbara? Like saying that to someone means that they are totally welcomed and they know that they're welcome because you're prepared. Nothing
Mhm.
makes you feel more prepared, makes you feel more welcome than when someone is prepared to host you. It's just like
Mhm.
going to someone's house. If you're like staying at a friend's house and you walk in and they're scrambling around, they're like, oh, sorry, I haven't made the bed yet. Oh, the kitchen's a mess. Oh my God, just bear with me. You're like, yikes, you don't feel very welcome. But if you walk
Mhm.
into someone's house and they're like, I'm so happy to have you. I have a little cheese plate. Let's have a glass of wine. Put your luggage in the other bedroom and then we're going to like go like watch a movie later. That person made you feel so welcome because they're prepared.
Mhm.
So it's just a totally different experience
Mhm.
with that. And yeah, just write everything down. You don't have to remember anything. Just
No,
write it
yeah.
down.
Don't put
Yeah.
the pressure on you. Like just write it down. And
Yeah,
and like
absolutely.
if you're talking to them and they're like stressing over their skin because they have a social event coming up, write that down. So the next
Make a
time they
note.
come, so the next time they come in, you're like, hey, you said you were going to like your boyfriend's like, I don't know, parents' anniversary like the other time last time I saw you. Like, how did that go? Kind of thing like that,
Oh
right?
yeah. They're like, you remembered? I love
Yeah.
that. Like the reaction that clients get when you remember they're like, how did you remember that? Clients used to always say to me, you have the best memory. And it was kind of a wink to myself. I was like, uh-huh. But really I had like wrote everything down, going to her parents, whatever anniversary, wearing a blue dress,
Mhm.
bringing whatever. And then they just feel like a VIP. And it's
Yeah.
just, yeah, it's amazing what that does.
So
So
our third
yeah.
emotion is
Mhm.
feeling supported. So you're
Yes,
like,
big one.
how can they feel supported on social media when they haven't even stepped into our treatment room, into my treatment room yet? So a lot of this is like you showcasing. I said this in a previous emotion, but it really relies heavily here for making your followers feel supported. is like, how did you get your clients from A to B? Showcasing that. Like, and it can be as simple as maybe you share a before and after in the caption, right? You're not just going to be like, oh yeah, check out her glowing skin. You're going to be like, this is Melissa. When she came to my treatment room, she was feeling XYZ. Together, we worked together to create her own customized treatment plan, and she was so consistent with her at-home results. Look at like what 3 months of like our efforts have gotten her skin to, or like look at how we've helped her achieve her skin goals in only like 3 months, something like
Mm.
that. You really want to like go into those details so that they feel already like, okay, like you want to create FOMO. I always say this, like you're a skincare celebrity. I always say this. As an esthetician, you're like a skincare celebrity to your followers, to your clients. Whatever you say holds a lot more weight. And you almost want to create FOMO for like being in your treatment room. Like
Mm.
FOMO between FOMO for like your clients. Like your clients are the ones who took that step and they like get to get that hands-on treatment with you. You are the celebrity, right? And like you want to create that. So showcasing like how you get your clients to point A to Z to achieve their skin goals, right? Can give them that little glimpse, can already make them feel supported because it's like, whoa, look, when I work with Elizabeth, it's not just like you're in, you're out. Like she sees this as a long-term thing. She's going to be by my side, create a customized product, service, and like follow up. She like hits all the areas that need to be hit, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then also like focus on like the mindset shifts that you help your clients with, because a lot of times like we say like your clients followers feel like really negative when they're on your feed if they're struggling with their skin. And then how can you showcase like how you got these mindset shifts with your own clients, right? So your clients are feeling stressed out, overwhelmed, they're feeling just tired and done with skincare. You could do like one post talking about how your clients, when they before they see you, they can feel just so over skincare and defeated, and then share how you get them out of that mindset, right? Because like we say, like everything comes down to emotion. Yes, they want to see a reduction in perhaps their like fine lines, or they want to see an improvement on their texture, but like what do they want to feel when they achieve that? They're going to feel so confident, so happy, so light, so stress free, like relieved, right? So like use those in your copy, in your captions. You can mention emotions. You can mention it in your video scripts, in your text pop-ups. Don't be afraid to really zero in. Like you could even do like a whole, I always say a series is really good to have, whether it's like a post series or a reel series. You could literally do a series on like the emotions that you help your clients get past, right? Or it could be like a mindset shift series. And then maybe like twice a month you share, so like 2 reels a month will be dedicated to highlighting like 2 mindset shifts you helped your clients get past, right? You helped them move through. Stuff
Mm.
like that can really make them feel supported, because it is a different ball game when you're on social media compared to when you're in the treatment room, because there's not like that one-on-one. You're not like touching their skin. You have to work like a bit harder essentially, because they're not physically in your treatment room yet. You need to get them to book. So definitely I recommend doing like a series focusing on like the mindset shifts, or like the behaviors they're doing right now when they're not liking their skin. Like maybe they're in the evening getting stuck picking at their face for 30 minutes when they are like brushing their teeth, right? Like no one likes doing that. But if you really struggle with your skin, you can fall into that trap. And yeah, like take note of those like little behaviors and put them into your content.
Yeah, whatever they're struggling with. And like Meg and I talk a lot about normalizing it, making them feel like whatever they're struggling with, it's completely normal. Like when you're struggling with something, you feel very alienated, you beat yourself up,
Mhm.
you make yourself feel less than because you're like, God, I can't get a handle on this. And it brings
Mhm.
you down. So whenever the clients are coming to you and they're telling you about XYZ, these things that they are struggling with, the first response is always, oh yeah, absolutely. You're not alone.
Yeah.
Like we see that all the time. Or if it's true, I would say, oh yeah, I've struggled with that as well. Like I totally hear you.
Mhm.
It's a big one, and then you immediately have broken that ice. There's nothing worse than a client like pouring their heart out to you and you just being like, mm-hmm, mm-hmm, like just
Yeah.
giving them like a generic, like, indication that you heard what they said, but not smoothing that over and not
Yeah.
bridging that gap, that is awful. And when I have people give me the I'm like, I'm out of here. I do not like that. I don't feel like I'm being listened to. I feel like you're just giving me some crappy response just to move me along. So don't do the
Yeah, we
Tune
call
in.
it educating with empathy. Elizabeth and I, if
Yeah.
you follow us on social media, we talk about this a lot. You want to always be educating with empathy. So yeah, whether it's in the treatment room, not just being like, or if they say they use a product that you don't like, going like, oh, like
Like,
the worst thing you can do in the treatment room and on social media is make people feel judged for their current product choices.
oh yeah.
This runs heavy on social media. There's lots of content that I've seen where it's like you can make someone feel bad for what they're using, right? Whether it's like a meme making fun of a specific product. But if you're
Like
struggling,
drugstore skincare, which
yeah,
yeah,
drugstore
we all
skincare and
laugh
then just
at. I know.
ripping it to shreds, why would you do that when that's all your follower knows, right? That's all they know. That's their norm. You have to respect that their level of skincare is not the same as you. And I think you should be very careful of how you word things on social media because you never want someone to feel like judged before they even interact with your feed, before they even interact with you in the treatment room. Because if they feel judged by your content, they're not going to book with you
Yeah.
because they're literally going to be scared of you, right? Like
Yep.
it's just that's the way it's going to work. Like no one wants to be judged. They're already like not liking their skin. They're not going to, willingly pay for potential to get
Yeah. I'm not gonna pay to be judged. I already
Yeah,
judge
so
myself enough. Yeah,
we always say
exactly.
like what you share on social media, you can be like warming them up for the client experience, right? So everything, all the emotions they feel on your social media, they're gonna feel in the treatment room, whether they're negative or positive, right? So always keep that in mind.
Exactly. And like this is where the scripting comes in and why I'm such a stickler about this. Like let's say
Yeah.
I was Dana and I had staff, this would
Mhm.
be what I would tell them. Let's say, and maybe you did, right? Because you did that for a long time. But let's say, as an esthetician, we have this knee jerk reaction when someone says they're using that godforsaken apricot scrub, right? We all
Mhm.
hate that freaking thing.
Mhm. Mhm.
But a client comes in and they're like, oh, I use the apricot scrub, right? We want to be like, what? That's the worst stuff ever. Bad idea, but the scripting that I would say it would be like, it's so wonderful that you found an exfoliant. Like exfoliation is such a key process in taking care of your skin. And it must feel good to get that dead skin off. But I'm so happy that you are tuning into your skin and you know that it needs to be scrubbed. What I want to do is get you one that is smoother and spherical and healthier and tailored to you so that it won't cause any negative effects. So it's kind of like find a way to say good job for whatever they're doing, even if it isn't at the level that you want it, and encourage them. At least they're doing a scrub. Some
Yeah.
people, at least they know that scrubs are important. It may not be the scrub you want them to use, but
Mhm.
always encourage them and say, that's so great that you sought that out. And like, I love that you know that scrubs are important. And then move in with your scripting and your
Mhm.
sale or your education. So yeah, don't ever leave them hanging or feeling like they're going to clam up and like get, feel triggered that you're scolding them and yelling at
Mhm.
them. It just doesn't work.
No.
Yeah.
And
And
this
they don't feel supported.
No, they're not going to feel supported. This leads really well into your points,
Oh
Elizabeth,
yeah.
unless
So
you've covered
so no, it's perfect. So supported again, these are things we hear a lot, but we need a good reminder. So listening carefully, right? When we let clients talk, we're shocked at what they say sometimes, right? I've worked with a lot of estheticians and they are really good and they're in charge, but they talk more than they let the client talk and they're missing on key information. So obviously listening carefully, asking follow-up questions, um, that's a big one. Like again, instead of saying you could be like, "Oh, that's so interesting. Tell me why you chose that. Oh, that's so interesting. What do you like about that?" Whatever follow-up question you can get more info, or like what drew you to that? How'd you hear about that? Like, I love that. I would love to know more. Don't just close them down, open them up, do the opposite, get them to talk more. Also, clients feel supported when you're tailoring recommendations to them. So the big thing that I'm teaching on in SOSA, Spa Owner Sales Academy, is a really solid skin analysis. And then all the findings that you get from your skin analysis are always there to tailor their skincare. You're always referring back to their specific conditions. So it's never a generic approach. And then, of course, if you learn one thing from me, I'm a huge proponent of clear treatment plans. If you want a client to feel supported, it's like when they come for you, and if you're struggling with clients who are like one and dones, they come once and they never come back, that's usually on you because you didn't set up a clear treatment plan where you tell them the journey that they're going to be on with products and services for the next 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, and a year. I always use the personal trainer analogy because a personal trainer to get you in top physical form is never going to say, oh yeah, we're going to do one workout and then you're going to be good. No, a personal trainer is going to be like, all right, well, we're going to meet 3 times a week. Here's your nutrition plan. Then we're going to do these workouts and then this and that and this and that. Like personal trainer is a great example of someone who knows how to show a journey. And I think we need to embody that as well, is here's the journey. Because when a client hears about your journey for them, they're like, oh, I'm in this club. She's welcoming here. Like I'm in her mental space and I'm going to be part of this. She's going to hold my hand for the next 3, 6, 9 months. And I know how that's going to look. So I think sometimes estheticians get intimidated. They don't want to seem salesy or like that they're coming on too hard. But I think they are missing an opportunity to show like their authority and their credibility and show the support for the client. So treatment plans are huge. And I mentioned treatment plans from day one consultation, day one in the door. And the other thing about support is really obviously creating a reassuring experience. So letting them know, yes, I've helped so many clients with this skin issue. Absolutely. Like I have been through this skin issue. I love working on this skin issue. This is my specialty. You are in good hands. I will take care of you. Those types of phrases, again, it goes back to scripting, means the world to them. And it makes them feel amazingly supported. And then lastly, I would say just simple education, really taking opportunities to speak and to educate, but doing it on their level. Meg and I talk a lot about in the course something that I worked on, which is called the client's retail love language. So speaking to clients in a way that they can hear you. Again, it's about getting away from that like robotic way of selling and really tuning in. How would this client best hear the information that I'm giving them? Are they like a trendy person? Are they like a scientist? Think about all the different personality types that come to your spa. We have to sell to them. It makes them hear our information better and they feel seen and heard and supported. So we're really big on that.
Yeah, and like when you flip it onto them, like you're never gonna feel salesy because it's part of the game, right? Like you want to get them to their skin goals. So it's not salesy. It's never salesy. Even on social media, it's not salesy. And your clients will never find it salesy unless you're posting like a generic graphic for your like promo, like, and it's not like tied to anything. That's gonna sound salesy. But when you're always coming from service, that's why I always say estheticians should be coming and like on social media and selling like every day, whether you're sharing like a product link to your online store or a your booking link. The way you don't make it salesy, it's not like, oh my gosh, you should buy this serum on your story and then link to that serum. No, it's like, oh, my client just left and she's seen such amazing results from this serum. I just had to share to you guys. And then have a picture of her skin looking like, or like her before and after, or her maybe post treatment, something like that. When you bring it back to what you do in the treatment room, it will never, ever, ever feel salesy. And especially on social media, our attention spans are very, very micro now. So they're not going to remember essentially if you like did a post on Wednesday and it's Friday and you're selling again. Like,
Exactly.
no, our
No one
brains don't work
cares.
that way anymore. Like you need you need to be selling like every day, because we just don't remember. And there's, our brains are like fine-tuned to scroll super fast. Sometimes you think your thumb has its own mind, right? So keep
Yeah.
that in mind, right? That's why we do have to amp up the frequency at which we're doing like these like direct selling things. But yeah,
Yep.
if you just bring it back to your clients, bring it back to the treatment room experience, it will never come off as super salesy, and
Yep.
that's how
And I
you.
think one thing too, I'm going to add a bonus word to today's
Yeah.
presentation. We're going to do 6 words. And this will transition well into our real word that we're doing, but it's excitement.
Excitement.
When you are excited as the professional about what you're selling and what you're doing, it definitely does not come off as salesy. It
No,
comes
you're like
off
so
as
in it.
you're enthusiastic. Like I would be losing my mind. Like I worked at one spa where the products were literally so good I couldn't even take it. And the clients would come in and I'd be like, Jane, we got the cream. She's like, you got the cream. I was like, I am freaking out. This stuff is so good. I'm like, Jesus, I can't wait to get it on you. And they'd be like, oh my God. I'm like, it's so good. And like, if you bring excitement or like, we got the laser, like anything that you have, if you're excited about it, amazing. It sells itself. If you're not excited about it, which I see a lot of estheticians do, whether it's because they're chasing the next shiny piece of equipment without really having a passion for it, or whether they are just have a lot of confusion about what lines to carry or what to do because they don't have a strong mission at their spa. They're not really sure who they are and what they do. They end up taking on devices, product lines, and protocols that actually they aren't excited about. And that is it's a financial burden, it's an energy suck, and I don't recommend it at all. So be very intentional about what you bring into your spa because you have to be excited about it.
Yeah.
And that excitement will translate to sales better than anything else.
You have to
Question.
be like really obsessed with yourself.
Obsessed. Yeah.
Sort of
Lana.
related, not completely related. I was curious what brand it was that you were talking about because I'm always looking for new things to learn about.
Yes. Well, it was
What
actually
product line were you talking about?
we had a private label. So we had this is one particular med spa I worked at. We had a Yale chemist that was very selective and he did private labels for physicians only. So that was the nice thing about working in a physician practice. And this guy was kind of really selective and we finally got approval to he would private label his line, his Yale University line in our med spa. And it was just magic. So unfortunately, I don't have a name for you because it was like a private label company for doctors only. If you ever do work with a physician, hit me up and I'll tell you the name of the lab. But it was incredible. And it doesn't have to be like that, though. It could be any line that you truly feel that
I see with
excitement for.
Dermalogica.
Yeah, you love Dermalogica?
Oh,
Yeah.
we love my Dermalogica.
That's
And
great.
Bioma.
That's good.
Yep. Yeah.
I have two brands that I keep in my back pocket depending on the client's skincare budget.
Yep, smart. Good. It's good to have like multiple price points. That's great. Yeah, when you love that brand and it comes through, it's just such an organic way to sell because it's not like a sale. It's just a new
You're
way
just
of
sharing.
sharing in the
And you're
love.
so
Yeah.
obsessed.
Yeah,
I like
you're
the
obsessed.
Bioma brand. It's the less expensive one. The packaging is the cutest ever. And the
Cute.
thing I love about it is on the ingredients list, it tells you what the ingredients are by their scientific name, but it also on the side tells you this is what this ingredient does for your skin. So it's
Love
not
it.
just here's a list of a lot of really big words. Here's what the list of really big words does.
Love it.
And I
Very
love it.
practical. Good for
That's
the
good.
clients.
And you just like outlined like so many pieces of content just when you were talking there. Like you could literally do a reel talking about you chose that product because they don't overwhelm you with skincare knowledge that's past your level, right? Like you love it because it speaks to your client's current level of skincare. And like you wanted to make sure when you brought a product into your business, right? Make it seem like you're picking the product.
Yep. You're holding the reins.
You're holding
And then,
the reins.
yep.
Because you wanted to make sure it was the best quality product for your clients, and this like communication aspect of it also really helped you make that decision.
Yeah, and really speaking like to your future client and say I know the overwhelm of picking up a jar of cream and seeing 37,000 ingredients, not knowing really what they are and what they do. And then, so it meant everything to me to pick skincare products that were easy to understand and effective and cute and whatever, whatever you want to say. So, all right.
So
So, Meg, we're
let's
going to
go
go to
into,
confident.
yeah, number
Okay.
4
Number
for
4.
promotion, confidence. Your clients, followers need to feel confident in their choice for you to be their skincare expert. So on social
Yep.
media, how can you make your followers feel confident enough to, book or buy? We've covered so
Yep.
many aspects that would flow into this area, like what we were just talking about, being excited about what you offer, being excited, like that's going to make someone feel very confident in their choice to buy or book with you.
Yep.
Sharing like before and afters, or if maybe your clients tag you in like their story or their post, you could create like a story highlight and then save them all there, and then those could be your though you could like just always have that on your profile kind of thing. And then again, it's like kind of creating FOMO for your clients. Like you and your clients are like you're like what everyone wants to join you essentially. You need to create that
Yep.
FOMO. And also for confidence, it's like share your why in your story. Like why should they trust you? Right? Like share your experience at school. Share, we're always talking about like continued education. If whether you're in the Spa Owner Sales Academy, or maybe you're doing a course on like a facial massage course for the weekend, like share that and share that to your stories. Share that you're always fine tuning your skills to bring the best possible services to your clients, right?
Yep.
And
Exactly.
it's not bragging. Like I always say, like, no, you have to become obsessed with yourself. Like, and
Yep.
those are the people who are going to truly get lots of bookings and sales off social media. You're so obsessed with what you offer. And
Yep.
it's just the name of the game. Like, don't be afraid. Elizabeth and I said this year is like our bragging era.
Yep.
We're
Brag it up.
stepping in. We're like, we don't care anymore. Like, we've
I
worked
don't
so
care.
hard to get to where we are, right? Like,
Yep.
if you get an article written in like a paper about you, put that everywhere.
Yeah.
Put that everywhere. Brag about it, right? You worked really hard to get
Everywhere.
there. So
Mm-hmm.
don't be afraid to like show off, like, your experience that got you to where you are now, how you continue to refine your skills. That should definitely be a big part of your content strategy.
Yep. And it doesn't even have to be you like boarding a plane to go to the big skincare expo. It
No.
could be like you like at your laptop. Be like, hey, it's a cozy Saturday night. And instead of like doom scrolling Netflix, I'm watching this cool training,
Yeah.
online or something like anything. And
Mhm.
it just shows like, hey, look, she cares. And if I go to her, she's on top of her game and she's on top of the industry and she's up on the science. And like, that's who I want to see, not the person who's not really invested in this.
Yeah.
There's a lot of competition. It's very saturated. What esthetician do they want to see? I want to see the one that's always learning. How do they know you're always learning? Like so many of you are, they see it. You have to
Mm.
prove that you're doing that.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
what I want to make sure I add here is, because like so much of that can happen on stories. Like if you're, I'll know probably most people here, just like our businesses, Instagram is like the key community platform you're on. So I always say that like it's really good to batch create your content, schedule out your content for the month so you have time to show up on your stories, because stories have clickable links, right? You can add the link button. So I think that stories, every esthetician should be using stories like daily, because it has that clickable link button. Like no other platform has something that makes it that easy for the client or the follower, sorry, to like take an action.
Yeah,
So
your booking link should be there. I mean, Meg, I know I'm stepping here, but I would say like that booking link should be there every day. Book
yeah,
here,
some
book
sort of link
now.
for something, whether it's like a
Yeah.
consult, like what's the first step to work with you, or like a product you're selling, like you want something up there. But the only way you're able to do that consistently is if you batch create the rest of your content. And I know so many estheticians feel so overwhelmed. They're like, oh, I haven't posted, like I can't even think about my stories when I haven't posted on my feed like in 2 days or 3 days. And it's like, well, if you sit down and take, this is what I do for my business and this is what I teach everyone, is literally take the last week of the month and plan your content. You need like 2 days, 2 afternoons, not even, to plan out the whole month of content for the month ahead. You could even do it like multiple months, right? If you're going to be doing any like promotions, that's probably ideal to do multiple months. Um, you don't have to. Yeah, Maria just chimed in and said admin day.
Yep.
Carve those out because I promise you it will take so much weight off your shoulders if you know your feed is putting out content automatically and all you have to do is do stories and um, comments because I always
Engage. Yeah.
engage. I always say you're building a community, you're not building a profile. So part of your job is to put out content, but part of your job is also to nurture your communities that you're growing, right? You can't just like put out a post and then be like, "Oh, that's it." No, you want to like if people comment, you want to comment back. If people are DMing you, you want to make sure you're getting to their DMs at an appropriate time span. And that doesn't feel like a second job when you get the rest of your content kind of sorted and batch
Mm.
created. I'm such a fan of batch creating. I do it for my business. You can breathe once you've batched your content and scheduled it out. I use just like Meta Business Suite because I can schedule something to go to Facebook and Instagram at the same time. I was actually on it this weekend and you can schedule an Instagram story. So there's
Ah.
no excuse not to be on
No
Instagram
excuses.
now and not to be putting out stories consistently because you could literally schedule one. Like,
Wow.
yeah.
There you go. Was that a question? Oh no. Okay, so I'll go on to my ways that you can show confidence or make your clients feel confident as far as the in spa and treatment room portion of it. Number one is celebrating their progress. And this is the key, even if there is no progress. Okay. I've seen a
Mhm.
lot of clients, they plateau, right? They're dealing with some serious pigmentation issues, some acne, some whatever it may be, right? There a lot of times they get super discouraged. If you are confident enough to tell them, no, you're doing great. You're doing great. This is normal. You're doing amazing. Like, let's say, for instance, even though you're not seeing maybe a reduction in their pigment, or let's say the fact that they're showing up and they
Mhm.
came to their facial that day, you're doing amazing. You're doing so good. Like the progress is here. We are doing this. We are doing this. You got this. You're doing awesome, right?
Mhm.
So, if any esthetician who is watching this now or in the future has ever dealt with serious pigmentation issues, which I did a lot in the med spa space, like melasma, for example,
Mhm.
it is one of the most frustrating conditions you can treat, right? Or like hormonal acne, where you're
Mhm.
partnering with like their OBGYN and you have to talk about the pill and different medications. And when you're dealing with those super difficult skin conditions, yet you stay confident and you show them that they should be confident because they're doing good and they're making progress, that is huge. Any progress, you celebrate. Okay. Um, Also, if you want to come off as confident and you want to make them feel confident, you have to have home care advice. We hear this
Mhm.
all the time in our field. Estheticians are like, I love giving facials. I love, but I hate selling. I don't care if they buy my products. I don't really want to sell to them. I just want them to come in and relax. And like, I don't want to sell skincare. And I'm like, what? Right. So, a confident esthetician, this goes back to the treatment plan, is always going to be giving them the tools of here is your service plan. This is what the next 3, 6, 9, 12 months is going to look like. And here is what the next 3, 6, 9, 12 months of home care is going to look like. So always make them feel confident that you got their back in those two
Mhm.
ways. You got their back with the services, and then you've got their back with the products.
Mhm.
Okay. Another thing to make the clients feel confident is authentic compliments. So I go again like this with all my scripting advice. Even if you look through that loop and you're doing the skin analysis and their skin is really struggling and they've got a lot going on, um, you always find some way to compliment them. So, like, oh my gosh, your skin looks hydrated, your lashes are gorgeous, your eyes are beautiful, your eyebrows are gorgeous, like, you have amazing muscle tone. Like, I go through all these scripts in our course. Because if you get into a sticky situation and you don't know what to say, you want to have some things that you can say to make them feel really complimented. Because again, those emotions of coming in, they feel very vulnerable. They feel very vulnerable underneath that the loop, and they know that you have a
Mhm.
magnifying lamp to their skin. So you have to break the ice with that.
Mhm.
Also, empowering language. Okay. One thing that is my pet peeve when I go to a spa is when again, if the esthetician is not excited about what she's doing, or if she's not empowering me with the outcomes that I'm going to be getting. So let's say I'm like, oh, I see you guys have that laser. Like, that's cool. What do you think? And the esthetician's like, it's good. I'm like, okay, like, or it's like, I want to hear more. Oh, it's amazing. This is what it's going to do for you. This is how your skin's going to look. This is how your skin's going to feel. These are the results you're going to get. Empower them, paint a picture. If you can do that for them, they're going to feel so confident in you. If you can't do that, they may think, is she not comfortable with this? Or is she new at this? Or she not into this? And they can sense that, and they're going to lose confidence in you. And also, the one thing that I'm huge on, and I'll end here. Well, no, I'm not going to end here. One thing is the VIP experience. Again, we kind of covered all this stuff before, the gifts, the saying of their name, remembering their preferences. VIP, VIP, VIP. And lastly, I'm going to say, kind of, you want them to be confident. You have to stay positive during the difficult times. So again, I kind of mentioned this. If they're going through a difficult time with their skin, you make them feel confident, and you look extremely confident when you are like, it's okay. I got you. Yep. I know your skin's probably peeling right now. It's probably feeling tight, red, dry. I know, because you're in this phase of using retinol. And that's normal. You're doing great. Keep going. So if you can really stay positive, keep them positive during hard times with their skin, they're going to be so confident in you, because they're going to look back and be like, wow, Liz really got me through that. Like, that was a mess and you really got me through it. Confidence is so key. They need to be confident in you. Okay. And just keep cheering them on. If you remember one thing from this.
Yeah, and that's amazing, because you can also make content around that. Like, you
Oh,
could
yeah.
do a reel talking about how you help your clients through the plateau, right? And
Right.
some people might not expect that, because they're like, your followers might be like, oh, my skincare journey.
Plateau.
You focus
Yeah.
so much on social media, like the highs, the highs, the highs, but it's a journey. So there's going to be dips, there's going to be plateaus. Again, you're setting them up for the client experience in the treatment room. So can you do a reel where you're talking about how you help your clients through the plateau?
Yep.
That
The
is like,
dreaded
it's
plateau.
so
Yep.
simple, but it's like, just shows how you take that extra step. And I don't know if I've said this before, but you always want to like make sure that you're doing content where it's you talking, because you're in the field. Like, it's a very intimate experience to have someone touch your face, especially if someone is touching your face and you don't like your skin, right? Like, they're showing you all their insecurities. And while I always say like you're a skincare celebrity, like, you can make yourself way more approachable if you're showing up and talking in videos the way you normally talk in the treatment room. Like, a lot of estheticians feel you like when you do a reel, like, you have to be super preppy. Hey, hi, na, 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 na. But the worst thing, you don't ever want to do that, because you don't want the social media experience to be different than what they're going to see in the treatment room. Like,
Yeah.
the way I talk, this is kind of how I talk, like, for like most of my content online too, because I don't want people to be like, oh, she's like super quiet, or she talks in a different way, when they see on like this video compared to like my reels. So try and make sure that all your video content is like the same tone, the same preppiness that you usually would. And you're also not setting, like, it's just so much more work for yourself if you feel that pressure to be like super chipper, Because then it's like, what if you're like not feeling super chipper one day, right? It's like, why put all that extra pressure on yourself to be someone you're not? I think that's really,
Yep.
really key, is consistency. And don't think you're going to bore them, right? Like, by consistently showing up like the way you are in the treatment room. People are looking for they're looking for that human aspect. Yeah. So don't ever feel like
Yep.
who you are naturally isn't enough. I think that's kind of what I want to say. Don't feel like you have to put on like a fake.
Or if it's too much. I'm the opposite. I'm super
Yeah.
extroverted. So I'm like big energy all the way. And like, I used to try to like calm that down, but I'm like, no, this is who I am. Like, if you met me in person, this is exactly what you're going to get. And so wherever you fall on the spectrum, be confident to be yourself. And then there's a client for every esthetician. They're going to gravitate
Yes.
towards your personality. And if they're not, then they're not meant for you. And you'll find the 5 that are, to replace that one that, so yeah, definitely.
So this leads us into our final emotion, which is feeling valued. So your clients and followers in order to take action, need to feel valued. So for my focus on social media, they need to feel valued before they even step into your treatment room. So how does that work? That happens by creating content, again, that will focus in on like the micro details or micro situations that might be coming in the upcoming days, months, weeks. You want they want to feel like the content you're sharing is speaking to them. That's how they're going to feel valued. Like you're not just putting out generic content. They want to see something that they can grasp their claws into and be like, wow, that's me. Oh my gosh, it's like she's in my brain. How did she create that post? So again, it all comes back to like, think of like the emotions they're feeling right now, the behaviors they're taking part in right now, how they want to feel, and then create content around that. That's how you're going to make them feel very valued. Again, also sharing your treatment room content on your reels or your TikToks. Treatment room content should be, I don't like do content pillars. I've never been into that, but you definitely, one format of content that needs to be very solid in your content strategy is treatment room content, where you're showing that escape of a space that you provide. And again, it can be so easy as you showing yourself prepping your room, which you could then like speed up and then put it to like relaxing music or something like that. Um,
Hmm.
yeah, that's really big. I'm just going through my notes. Yeah, if you have, Elizabeth is really big. Previously, she was talking about aftercare. Show yourself
Hmm.
putting together aftercare bags. Like it's just so easy like that, right? Like, how are you going to show them that they're going to be valued? Show them you putting together the aftercare bag, or like you
Yep.
do a little story of like the aftercare bag for your next client sitting, getting ready, like waiting to be picked up for your client to come in, something like that. Like, don't hesitate to show those like little moments and show how you take those extra steps, those extra details for your clients. And like I
Hmm.
said, like we're so lucky, like people want to see the human aspect. So if you can just put up a story and maybe it's like not perfect, like don't stress over it, right? People don't want that perfect anymore.
Yep. It's so true. They just want to know that you care, that you're like preparing for them.
Mhm.
And yeah.
And then
Okay. Oh,
I
sorry.
just
Go
want to
ahead.
say one final line. Remember that your followers are used to handling everything themselves.
Yeah.
So
So
put
big.
yourself in that step, like in that state of mind. Like they're used to like no support, no professional products, no aftercare. And you need to be like, okay, that's where they're coming from. How can I create content that will show that like I take those extra steps and they don't have to
Yep.
worry about that anymore? Because when they work with you, it's like you want them to feel like they can put their feet up and you take charge.
Yeah. They don't want to be answering questions. Like, I think the kiss of death, just to add on to that, is when an esthetician says to me, or anyone says to me, I don't know, what do you think? Like asking me as the customer, what do you think? Or what do you mean? What do I think? Like, yeah, there's times where like you need my feedback, but no, 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 no. Like you are always guiding them, always leading them, always answering questions before they ask them, right? I'm
Mhm.
not in charge of this conversation. Like, quick side mini story is like, even the hair lady that I had now, she does my hair. She's so sweet and I love her. But I feel like I have to say to her sometimes, I think we're ready for like a glaze. Like I can tell that my hair is getting dull, so I do a glaze periodically on,
Mhm.
whatever. And so I don't like, as much as I like her, I don't like that I have to be the one that
Yeah.
says to her, hey, I think I'm ready for my glaze. Like, I feel like she should be looking at my hair and
Mhm.
she should say, Liz, you need your glaze.
Mhm.
I'm not in charge of that. She's in
Mhm.
charge of that as the professional. So you need to be in charge of everything. You're going to look at their skin. It's time for this. And now it's time for that. You don't have to think,
Mhm.
I got you. I'm the pro. So,
Mhm.
really stepping into knowing that part of the value that you give and making them feel valued is that you are anticipating their needs. They don't
Mhm.
have to worry, because what it makes them feel, if they have to start asking you, is it time for this? Is it time for that? Do I need
Mhm.
this now? Is they lose their confidence in you because they're wondering what else is she not doing or what else is falling through the cracks, with
Yeah.
her.
I think in one of our master classes in the Spa Owner Sales Academy, we say that you never want your client to question things.
Yeah,
So it's like
confusion, question.
confusion. You don't want to create that moment of confusion because then they're
Yeah.
going to start questioning things. And then that can shake like all the trust they have in you, really
Yep.
easy, really, really easy.
But like you said, I'm not putting my feet up then. I'm going in and I have another thing on my to-do list that I have to tackle when I go into your spa, and that should not be the case.
Yeah. And it's like, I don't want that. No, your clients don't want that. They're tired of
No.
put their feet up. And yeah, you are in
Yeah.
charge. And it all comes back down to confidence, right? And like,
Yep.
a lot of times people are like, oh my gosh, I wonder if the client's like thinking this, but it's like, no, if you say it like confidently, they can't like jump into your mind, right? Like,
Right.
it's not like even in your head, you're like, oh my gosh,
I
no,
know. Like
really, like,
a lot of estheticians struggle with upsells, like,
yeah,
okay, I'm doing a
upselling.
facial, but I'm nervous about telling them that they need this add-on or this. But like, I love when an esthetician's like, oh, I'm here for the facial, but she's like, okay, your brows need a good cleanup. I'm like, I know. And I'm glad you noticed, because it
Mhm,
means you're actually looking at me and you're caring about what I need. Worst
mhm,
case scenario, they can say no, but at
mhm.
least
No
your
is not the
eyes
end
are
of the day.
open,
Yeah,
and you
yes,
can see the mess. And you don't want
yeah.
me to walk around like this. Thank you.
We say
You
this,
know?
we talk about this a lot in the Spa Owner Sales Academy to remove the weight that no has in your life.
Yeah.
No is not the end of the world. Whether it's someone unfollowing you, someone not booking when they've asked for your booking link in DM, whether
Mhm.
it's in the treatment room and they say no to an upsell or a product, no is not the end of the world.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean it could be like no, it could be no now, it could be yes next week, yes in like 3 months. Like
Yeah.
you never know. And if you get all down in the dumps after a no, like you're gonna make business like really hard on yourself.
Yeah. Just remember, have a toddler or babysit a toddler. All they tell you all day long is no, 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 no. You don't care anymore. You're like, tell me no again. It doesn't matter, right?
Do
But
it.
yeah, exactly. I dare you. But like, just think of them as toddlers, and you love them, you respect them. But at the end of the day, you know what you're doing. They aren't estheticians. You are. You know better. And they can tell you no, but that's fine. They'll come
That's
around,
fine. Yeah. It doesn't change like the client relationship either. Don't be
Yeah.
like, oh, she always says no to me. Like you never
Yeah.
know when she could say yes, right? Because you don't want it to like leak into your client experience.
Yeah, I think if anything, they respect you more when they say no and you just smile and you're like, okay.
Okay, well I'll make note of
Yeah.
that for like later that you're interested in it or something like
Yeah.
that, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, that confidence, like when
Yeah.
they're probably sitting there like wondering how you're going to respond to their no. And yeah, if you do it confidently.
Yeah. And I would like to add, and this may be part of a future masterclass too, is that the ultimate confidence move is saying no to your client. Go ahead, Lana.
Yeah, Lana has a question.
Sorry to interrupt. I did have a question. When you were talking about like, for like the add-ons and whatnot, and if not supplied,
Mm-hmm.
I'll let you know. Is there a point that you would recommend to stop recommending it, or should you just recommend it every time?
Can you give me an example?
So like, if you said to a client, "Hey, I really feel like you would benefit from like some microdermabrasion or something," and they're like, "No, not this time, maybe next time," and every time you offer, they're like, "No," is there a
Mm.
point where you would just not continue to offer?
I think the way to prevent that whole awkward situation, because that feels painful, and I've been there, getting shut down by a client over and over again. The way you prevent that is by setting the standard in the beginning, in the first visit, in the consultation. Hi, I'm Lana. I'm going to be your esthetician. We have our I'm just making this up. We have our basic facial that you're going to come in. That's how I schedule you. And just know that every time you come in, we have add-ons that are available. I'm going to look at your skin when you come in every day, and then I'm also going to be thinking about what I can do to help you that day when you come in. And if I have an add-on that I think is going to help you, I'm going to let you know. You can tell me yes or no, but I am going to let you know. So that type of stuff doesn't have to be worded exactly like that, but if they're having trouble with add-ons in the treatment room, it's because they haven't really been introduced to the idea, maybe, from the beginning or from the consult.
Hmm.
So you have to say, it's your tool. It's like a personal trainer is going to be like, most days I'm going to have you on the treadmill for 10 minutes. Then we're going to do some weights, and then we're going to do some stretching, and we're going to cool down. You have to be the same way. You're going to come in, I'm going to do your facial, I'm going to talk to you about the add-ons, we're going to talk about aftercare, and then I'm going to schedule you for your next treatment in 4 weeks. You have to set them up. That way, when the add-on conversation comes up, they're already ready for it. And you have to also go back to your skin analysis. Why do you recommend the add-on? what is going on with their skin that they're struggling with. So if they're like, oh my God, my moisturizer just doesn't absorb, or like, I just feel so dull. My skin's just has no, used to be so luminous when I was 25, and now it's so dull. And
Mhm.
that's when you say, okay, well, probably the cause of that is the dead skin. And, no moisturizer or no makeup is going to work well when you have that extra layer. Microderm is the perfect thing for that. I have the add on. Let me do it today, and you'll see how good your skin looks. Done.
Mhm.
Right? So it's problem, solution, problem, solution, problem, solution. But yeah, if you
Okay.
talk add-ons for the first time when they're cozy in the bed and they just want to turn their brain off and relax, and you're asking them to make a transaction or make a decision about something, sometimes they don't appreciate that. You have to let them know these are your tools, and you're going to let them know what you're going to be using that day.
Yeah. And then
Okay.
also like on your social media content, like you can share that in your content. Like when you come into my treatment room, like you could be like what to expect as a first time client.
Yeah.
Thing. This
Yeah.
could be a talking reel of you talking about this and saying that like if you come in for this facial, but then yeah, what Elizabeth said, like we also have add-ons, and I'll always look at what your skin's looking at that day to recommend if there's any additional add-ons that could take your skin that much further, like
Mm,
or like help us reach your skin goals kind of thing like that. But
yeah.
it can be in a talking reel of you talking. It could also be in the caption of a post. Like
Yeah.
don't hesitate to sprinkle it into your content. Really, really big on that, and also your treatment plans. If you really want to attract clients that expect treatment plans, put that in your content. You should be going hard in your content. If you ever share before and after or a client reel, you're making sure that you mention their treatment plan in the caption so that
Including the add-ons you did for them.
in the add-ons, so
Yeah.
people know treatment plans are to be expected to get these results,
Yeah.
right? You're like forming like their brain like in that way. Like so when they finally book with you, they're like, okay, I know I'm gonna get a treatment plan because that's to be
Yep.
expected because she talks about it all the time on her social media.
Yeah. That's how you avoid those one and done clients. If you're really vocal about treatment plans, long-term
Mhm.
treatment plans, success stories, this is my client's 9-month progress, 12-month progress, then you're not going to attract those one and done clients who are just shopping around
Because they're not gonna book
because
with you.
yeah, they'll be like, "Oh, she's like a long-term kind of gal. I
Yeah.
shouldn't go in there."
Yeah,
Yeah,
they're
you
literally gonna
are.
be like, I don't want to get tied into a treatment plan, and that's fine. That's not your type of client. You don't want that.
Yeah.
Trust me. For the people who are the one and dones, there's someone ready who's wants to be guided for like
Mm,
life, you know?
yeah. Exactly. They're obsessed with you and they're like,
Mhm.
"Please tell me what I need." Yeah. Yeah, you got this, girl. Just tell them the beginning. Because, or you could say, like what Meg said, you can make a reel. Like, you probably notice on my menu that I have add ons. Let me talk about how we handle them. Like, look, this is whatever. And just walk them through that. You could say, like, I don't expect you to decide about add ons. I'm always going to help you. I'm going to look at your skin and do a full skin analysis. And
Mhm.
I'll always give you my recommendations for add ons.
Mhm.
So, because a lot of times clients do come in with add ons and they get nervous about it. Like,
Mhm.
I'm booking a facial. I see she has add-ons. Like, what the heck? I don't know. What do I add on? I have no idea. Like, no.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Do you recommend just setting your facial price or waxing with the add-on there and just not charging add-ons?
Oh, like not having an add-on list available, just like an all-in-one price where you just do whatever for
Yeah.
that. You book by time essentially and not by like different services.
Yeah. Or maybe just doing
Yeah.
everything included facial. Like, no, like maybe you have your like, I don't know, I'm gonna give an example, 150, and then
Hmm.
you have 180, and in the description it says there's no add-ons, anything that within this time frame is included.
Mhm.
Yeah, you could definitely. There's definitely some estheticians that do that. It's more about timing. So you
Or
could
really leave money on the table.
you
Yeah,
do,
that's the
yeah,
thing.
you do, but there are successful estheticians for sure that work by time. And I do think that you do have to have some parameters over it. We could be like, it's 180 for 75 minutes. So obviously you have the price, you have the time. That's very straightforward. And then you say, I will pick the best 2 add-ons for you that day. Or let's say if you have a $300 facial, you're like, it's 90 minutes, $300. I will pick the best 4 add-ons for you that day. It's always your choice, but you should let them know. Because what if they're like, I want all the add-ons, and you're like, well, we only have 75 minutes, so I'm gonna pick 2. You know, there
I
has
think
to be boundaries.
Yeah, and if you want to do it that way, your price needs to reflect it
Yeah,
because
definitely.
you're removing the option for like the add-on that they would pay for, so you're removing that option for extra money. So you need to make sure your prices reflect that.
Yeah, go higher,
Go
definitely.
higher because you don't want to get yourself stuck in a situation where you're doing like all these add-ons and it's just you're wearing yourself out, making enough money and you're
And
burning.
you're draining your account. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the menu is definitely the trickiest thing. That is usually the $1 million question. Is it really comes down to the personality of the esthetician. Like I've worked with some estheticians, they were just really creative and they didn't want to be bound by any type of menu, and I totally got them. And then some really love the structure of the add-on and the menu and all of that. So it's really about what works best for you, because there's
Mhm.
every menu out there in the world exists. There's so many
Yeah.
ways
And
to
then like how
work.
you market it too, and like the
Yeah.
time you give it, like you don't want to like maybe you switch your menu to that new format where there's no add-ons, but then it's like 2 months and it's not working the way you want. Like don't give up. That's the thing. You have to have the time and the money to sustain yourself over a year of trying to like potentially getting your clients used to this new menu if they're not like clicking in right away, right? You
Yeah.
got to give yourself the time and like how you market it and also like focus more on your marketing, like how it's all like customized, right? Like what Elizabeth,
Mm-hmm.
I pick the add-ons that fit your skin, right? And put that in when they go to book it, right? And again, it comes back to like what are like the like how are people feeling before they book with you, right? Like they're tired, they want someone to take the lead. And so make sure you're keeping that in mind when you're creating like your product descriptions or you're creating your captions or even like your text pop-ups that are
Mm-hmm.
promoting that, right?
They don't want decision fatigue. They don't want to be making all these decisions,
Mhm.
you know? Yeah. But that is a tricky one. You're not
Menu is.
alone. Yeah. You're not alone. Oh, I'm going to do my last value ones, then we're done, right?
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
before we
Okay.
finish, if we can
Yeah.
please hit the 5 again, and then if you guys have time, we could take questions. We could have like, I just got to be done by like 12:40, 45, 12:50.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. So we're going to finish the 5, right? Is that what you meant? Sorry.
Yeah.
Well, I meant
Okay.
like go over them, like, dude, like hit the.
Oh, recap. Gotcha. Okay. All right. So I'll finish the 5. So we're on the last emotion that your client needs to feel to book, to buy, to refer, to rebook, right? And
Yeah.
that emotion is feeling valued. And what I would add here is the treatment room aspect of a client feeling valued. And we've covered so much of already. But again, using their name, personalizing some thank yous, and any type of loyalty rewards, anything that you can do to make them feel like they're here, you appreciate their time, you appreciate their money, and you appreciate the referrals. So if they are building your business for you by sending those referrals in, if they are, like they come to your spa to shop at Christmas because they're like, I just love all your products, I'm going to buy them for all my girlfriends. How are you going to make them feel valued for doing that? And we go into all of that as well. And I would say on the flip side of this is that anytime you look at a spa that's struggling and they have 1, 2, and 3-star reviews, the reason that that's happening comes down to value. Clients go on to Google and leave a 1-star review at the end of the day, 9 out of 10 times, because for some reason they did not feel valued. So I want you to think about, how are you making sure that they feel valued, that you're taking into account the time, the money, and respecting their decision to come into your spa? Because without clients, we don't have businesses, right? So sometimes the best way to show value is by an apology. So don't be afraid to apologize. We're all human. Sometimes we just make a small error or it's a big error. I talk a lot about scripting for how do you hear out an angry client? How do you make sure they feel heard and valued when something goes wrong? Because that's when you really shine. It's not when things are going right all the time. You shine when things go wrong. And how do you make them feel valued in the tough situations.
Mhm.
So that's one thing that I really want to drive home for value is obviously there's the positive things, but then there's in the tough times, what do you do?
Mhm.
That's it for me.
That was it. That was my 5. I hope
Yep.
you guys
So
all
we'll
enjoyed.
recap. Want to recap?
Yeah.
I'll do it.
Yeah.
Okay. So again, if you're tuning in now or in the future, Meg and I are covering the top 5 emotions that your clients need to feel to book at your spa, to buy, to refer, to rebook, and to basically, make your business grow. And those are number 1, feeling pampered at your spa, and number 2, feeling welcomed at your spa. 3, feeling supported. 4, feeling confident. And 5, feeling valued.
I hope you guys enjoy this talk.
Yep.
Please, if you're watching the replay, don't hesitate to put like a comment in if you have a question, because we're both in the Facebook group. We'll be able to see it and we'll be able to answer.
Yep.
And yeah,
Yeah.
it was really nice meeting some of you.
It was so great to meet you guys. We had so much fun.
Do you guys have any questions before we leave? So much to cover, and
I know we
the
covered a
process.
lot.
We covered a lot.
Yeah. This
This
is
is gonna be a
kind
good
of how
one.
me and Meg are.
This is gonna be a good replay one, like just to like listen on
Oh,
like
yeah.
a Friday night, or if you have like a long drive.
Yeah.
Remind
I just
me
let
where
these
I can find this
say what?
Remind me where I can find this replay.
Oh yeah, where can they find the replay?
So 2, if you go into the group, it's already pinned on featured.
Cool.
1. 2, if you're not subscribed to the newsletter, I'll put it in the chat. And it's also on our YouTube. So it's going to live on our YouTube. And I do it on YouTube so you can fast forward,
Oh, awesome.
delete, whatever you want.
Yeah. Awesome.
Love that.
Awesome.
Thanks so
Thank you
much,
so much.
Maria.
Thank you. Thank
And
you
the
so much for
YouTube
having us,
is
Maria.
on the website. So once you go to the website, you could subscribe, and then you could also watch all our past educational content.
Sounds good.
Awesome.
Thank you, ladies, for doing this. I cannot wait
No,
for the
thank
next
you.
one.
Yeah,
Thank
I'm excited for the
you.
next one.
All right, we'll be in
Alrighty.
touch.
Bye.
Bye.